Bitcoin may not die from a crash or a ban. It may die from something far smarter, a government-backed clone designed to control the future of money. This is the story of how China's digital yuan could quietly erase Bitcoin from Asia's trade routes, take over global payments, and make decentralization obsolete. If you think this is just about crypto, you are already missing the bigger picture. Because what China is building right now could reshape the world's financial map. And this time, the weapon is invisible. China's leaders have never hidden their goal: total financial independence from the United States and the Western banking system. For decades, that dream seemed impossible. The US dollar ruled trade, SWIFT controlled transactions, and Bitcoin rose as a rebellious alternative. Money with no master. But Beijing saw both as threats. The dollar represented Western dominance. Bitcoin represented chaos. So China decided to build something that could destroy both. Enter the digital yuan, officially called the ECNY, a central bank digital currency fully controlled by the People's Bank of China. Unlike Bitcoin, which is decentralized, the digital yuan reports every transaction directly to the government's central ledger. No mining, no anonymity, no middlemen. Every coin, every wallet, every payment, fully visible and programmable. At first, the world barely noticed, but behind the scenes, China was conducting the largest financial experiment in human history. It quietly tested the digital yuan in over 200 cities, connected it to major apps like Alipay and WeChat, and built cross-border bridges linking Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Middle East. Slowly, without a single gunshot, China began rewriting the code of global finance. The plan is simple and ruthless. While the West argues about inflation and crypto regulation, China is offering an alternative, a government-controlled digital money system ready for global trade. And it comes with perks that dictators and corporations love: instant traceability, full control, and zero friction. For example, when two countries trade oil or electronics, they no longer need dollars. With China's new digital payment rails, they can settle instantly in ECNY, bypassing the dollar entirely. For nations under sanctions or pressure, this is liberation. For Bitcoin, this is annihilation. Because if global trade no longer depends on open blockchain systems, Bitcoin's utility as borderless money collapses. Think of it this way: Bitcoin was born from the dream of freedom, a world where people, not banks, controlled value. But China's digital yuan represents the mirror opposite, a world where value is controlled, tracked, and programmed by the state. If Beijing can convince enough countries to use its digital currency, it gains a new kind of power: the ability to see, stop, or shape any transaction on Earth. That is not science fiction, that is surveillance capitalism on a global scale. And the world is taking notice. The Belt and Road Initiative, China's trillion-dollar infrastructure network, is already integrating digital yuan payments. Chinese state banks are embedding ECNY wallets into trade platforms across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Every new trade route becomes a digital artery, one that flows back to Beijing. At the same time, Bitcoin miners in China were forced offline. Exchanges were shut down. Crypto influencers vanished. The message was clear: decentralization has no place inside the Great Firewall. But that was not the end. That was the setup. By removing Bitcoin internally, China cleared the stage for its own digital empire. Now imagine this: a factory in Vietnam pays for Chinese parts using the digital yuan. A port in Dubai settles oil shipments directly through China's CBDC. A tech firm in Kenya gets paid in ECNY for software exports. All these transactions bypass the dollar and the open crypto networks entirely. Every step strengthens China's grip on data, finance, and influence. Bitcoin's greatest strength, borderless independence, becomes its weakness in this new reality. Governments and corporations prefer control over freedom, and China's digital yuan delivers exactly that. It gives the illusion of innovation, but underneath it is financial surveillance at industrial scale. If you are wondering why this matters to you, the answer is simple. The future of Bitcoin and your financial privacy depends on how the world responds to this digital currency race. If the digital yuan becomes the standard for Asian trade, Western countries will be forced to create their own centralized versions. The result? A world filled with government tokens, each tracking its citizens, each replacing free crypto with controlled code. Bitcoin's fight was never just about money, it was about who controls value, who writes the rules, and who watches the watchers. And now that fight has a new and dangerous opponent, a system that combines the efficiency of blockchain with the authority of a superpower. China's plan is not to ban Bitcoin, it is to make it irrelevant. Because when your employer, your bank, and your country all use one government-issued wallet, Bitcoin becomes a relic. Too risky, too rebellious, too untraceable for a world built on compliance. But here is the twist. Every empire that centralizes control eventually collapses under its own weight. History proves it, and Bitcoin has survived everything. Bans, crashes, even wars. The question is not whether China can kill Bitcoin, but how long Bitcoin can survive under siege. As the digital yuan spreads across borders, the world must decide whether it wants convenience or freedom, because once the code of money belongs to governments, there is no going back. So the next time you see headlines about China's financial innovation, remember, innovation without freedom is just control wearing a new mask. And while the world applauds the efficiency of the digital yuan, Bitcoin quietly stands as the last reminder of what money used to mean: freedom, privacy, and choice. China's secret plan to kill Bitcoin is already in motion. The question is, will the world stop it before it is too late?